My name is Zanae Maxine Lamb Vaughn. I came in the 10th grade in 1953 and graduated in 1956.
Right.
Hazel L. Jacobs. The same with me. I came in January of 53 and graduated on May the 25th, 1956.
My name is Columbus Higgins. I came to Merrill in 1953 and graduated in 1956.
My principal was M.D. Jordan. He was actually, if you got to really know him, a sweetie pie. But he didn't take any back talk. He was a disciplinarian.
Yeah.
He meant for you to do your work. He meant for you to act like young men and young women. That was his standard, and he did not let it go.
Mr. Jordan, Master D. Jordan, was my principal also, and he was a wonderful person. He knew that I didn't have the money to get my class ring. He actually bought it for me. And when I went to pay him back, he didn't want anybody to know that he did that favor for me, so he went, shh. So I paid him back, but he was a wonderful person. Like she said, he's very disciplined. I never had to be disciplined, thank God.
I know it.
But I knew that he would, so that kept me straight.
Mr. Jordan was my principal also. He was like my dad away from home. I think for a lot of us, because as was just mentioned, he was a disciplinarian. He wanted us to do what was right and become young ladies and young men that had a future. And quite a few of us did that, followed along with his disciplinarian rules.
One year, they needed band instruments and uniforms. And so the group met upstairs in a classroom on the second floor. And the school had put in several telephone lines. And she got the parents to bring their kids. And we all went upstairs and made telephone calls to people around the city that we knew and asked for money to help support the parent-teacher group and their project. And they actually got the money to buy the uniforms and the instruments for the band. I'll never forget it.
There was a teacher, you guys may know him, Pine Bluff, Fulton Walker. He was a teacher there. And he told my mom to send me to Merrill because I was so far advanced over the Star City kids. And I didn't know why she sent me up here, but she did. And it helped me because there were children that was more intelligent than I was, so I was pull me up. But I was here and enjoyed every moment. And when we graduated, I actually stood on the steps and cried.
We had a principal that, like I mentioned, and he was more like my dad, away from home. Because if he said, "Be quiet," you could hear a pin fall. Something happened in the city with some of the students, and he was told about it, and he came in, and all he did was put his hands behind him, fold his hands behind him, and walk down to the auditorium front door and walk back. When he came in, it was so much noise, he thought it was a fight or something going on. When he came back down to the stage, he stood in front of the stage and you could hear a pin fall. That's the type of control he had on the students. And I enjoyed that because it taught me how to respect authority. And at the same time, it was giving all of us training in being adults and how we should respond and how we should act in growing up and not be just a do nothing, as we used to say.
I was in the choir and the band. I was in home ec only because the teacher, Mrs. Watkins, was a good friend of my mom's. And Mom had started teaching me to sew. And Miss Watkins felt like I needed to continue that. So I ended up in the home ec club, but then I really enjoyed it. I didn't particularly like the cooking part, but I did enjoy the sewing part. And it did help me. Up until a few years ago, I still sew. So it really did help. The choir and the band were just like icing on the cake for me because I was taking piano lessons. So it just continued what I really love, the music part. And it helped me because in my adult life, I ended up as minister of music at my church and did that for, maybe 40, 50 years. That's what you received from Merrill. You received things that helped you into your adult life.
There was some type of a test that they did, and I actually won the home ec award, but I don't know the reason, and I should have confronted them after, but I didn't. I ended up not getting my reward like the other ones. I was called in the room and got it all by myself. But I won the home ec award for some kind of test they had. But I enjoyed every moment. I did a little sewing. I remember making a lavender color, what do you call it? Chiffon, not chiffon. What's that material that's real fluffy?
Taffeta?
No.
Taffeta.
Anyway, it was lavender color. And I also made a skirt that I used 4 red bandana handkerchiefs on a navy blue bottom. I had one here, one beside and one in the back. So that's the only activity I was in except when we used to go outside and take the exercise.
I enjoyed the industrial arts class under Mr. Blood, and he made it interesting. I was able to do things that I had no idea that I would have been able to do if it had not been for the transfer to Merrill from Townsend Park. He made it interesting, and we did things with our hands, projects rather, taught us how to use the instruments, saws and all of that. It gave us, taught us how to read the blueprints. It was just an eye-opener for me, and I tried to carry some of that along with me even now. It's still interesting. I just don't have the equipment to do what I would like to do, but I enjoyed that. And then I enjoyed singing in the choir. Oh, Merrill High, oh, Merrill High, we love thee. Thy name is true, and evermore shall be. Our guide is true, and please me call grateful sign. My
Mrs. Green always brought music that we weren't accustomed to singing or hearing, and taught us, those songs. I didn't play an instrument per se, but I knew music. And so I ended up being one of the drum majors in the early band. And it was because I knew music and I knew when somebody was playing something off key and they needed to do. So I enjoyed that. And home ec, I think I did really enjoy the home ec class. I enjoyed the sewing part of it. I was making my grandmother a dress at home. Mrs. Watkins encouraged me to bring it to the class, to make sure I was doing the techniques correctly. So I finished my grandmama's dress in home ec class, and that was special.
My memories of Merrill is basically from the 10th grade to the 12th grade. I remember all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And back to a little bit of disappointment with my here. I did well in school, but for some reason I never found out I still wasn't included in any of the presentations. I always got it in the back. I don't know why. But I graduated 4th from the top,
Mm-hmm.
but I got no recognition. Mm-hmm. And after school was over and I moved back home to Star City, again, Mr. Jordan stepped in and he wrote me a letter and told me that I had won a scholarship, but nobody acknowledged me. So I was really upset. And he told me I could attend UAPB. But I was upset, so I left town. And I regret not taking that offer. But I really appreciate Mr. Jordan paying attention to me when nobody else did. Also, the same thing happened in the typing class. Miss Kirby, I was typing at like 70 to 90 words a minute. And she would not put me in the top class. She put me in a lower class, which slowed me down. So I have some good memories and some bad memories. My biggest regret is after I got grown, before they passed away, I didn't confront them and ask them why.
I had I would say, a successful tenure here at Merrill. When I first came, my first year in '53, I met students and we became friends. I met instructors, which became parents, and Daddy Jordan was our principal. And a lot of us looked on him as our father away from home. And that was a good feeling, because I wasn't the only one that looked on him as a dad away from home.
A lot of us, like Hazel and Columbus, have stayed in touch all these years. In my case, there were a group of us that had gone to school together at nursery school on the campus of AM&N, and high school, elementary school and high school, and ended up at Merrill together. And I think there were about 12 of us. They came all the way through those years together and graduated together. And we remained close friends after graduation. You know, we scattered around the nation, but when we come together, you know, it's like we just left each other. So that's very special. It really is.
I agree.
Each teacher, the professionalism that they had about themselves, always set an example that I wanted to be like them when I grow up. You know, I wanted to carry myself in their manner.
The teachers, they didn't abuse us, just as Mr. Jordan, like he was our daddy, and he never did abuse us. A lot of us graduated and went on to higher education at AM&N in TE. Samuel Jones, S.J. Jones was, we were in the class together. We were determined that the students from other cities and states weren't going to beat Merrill. And they had us to climb this rope up to the top of the gym, hand over hand, and then come back hand over hand, and then run 100 yards to the wall and bounce back off the wall and run backwards to the rope. So we were determined that we were going to hold the name of Merrill up in that class, and we weren't going to let anybody beat us. And so we did that. And just like my tenure at Dalloway, I was able to go back into the shop areas, and I enjoyed that. I was able to carry some of those things that Mr. Blood taught us.
Actually worked on the campus of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff my whole career. Not intentionally, but that's the way life goes. I started off as administrative assistant in food service, because food service at that time was under the auspices of the university. And then I just moved from area to area, and I ended up in athletics as compliance assistant, which was a very difficult job. Don't let anybody else tell you it's not. It is very difficult. My whole professional career was on the campus in one area. In totality, it was a good life. I am retired, living with my daughter. I guess I do what I want to do.
After I left school, I moved to Los Angeles, California, and I went downtown to get a job at Occidental Life Insurance. And I was put into the accounting department as an accounting clerk. And that was in 1966. And that was like a rabbit in the briars. I couldn't get out of numbers. So I ended up working there for 9 years. I worked another 9 years for Caterpillar Tractor Company as a machine operator. And then for California State Automobile Association, AAA. I started off as a cashier, ended up the supervisor, and then promoted to underwriting. So I ended up in numbers from 66 until I retired in 1998. And I returned back home. And here I worked some here. I worked at a hotel. I worked at the Senior Citizen Center. And after that, I just do retiring things. Sit home, look at TV, talk on the telephone. That's about it for my retired life.
After college, I got a job working at Cheryl Rosenwald School, which is about 15 miles from Pine Bluff, on the junior high school level. I didn't start out in my special area, industrial arts, but I started out in science and PE. And it's good that we had PE at Merrill. and science, I had to follow those things because my tenure as far as employment looked like everywhere I went. That's what I had to go into. I went to Cheryl. I worked there for about 4 years. And then I was asked to come to a little school down Princeton Pike. And I worked there for, about 9 years. And I enjoyed that because I had, here again, using some of the same experiences that got here at Merrill, used that in my situation as head teacher. And then I left there and went to Dalloway and I stayed there 4 years in the industrial arts department. And that's where I got back into Mr. Blood's teaching. And then when I left there, I was recruited to go to Pines Botech here in the city. I worked there for 20 years as assistant director. And I enjoyed my experiences. And I'm retired as well, doing what I want to do. Yeah.